I'm Sarah Starr, and this is your space weather forecast for today. Today, we have entered those active geomagnetic storm level. We also are seeing Schumann grid pattern. Our amplitude is up, our frequency of Earth is up, which means there's a lot of light codes that are pouring in right now. So embrace all of the light codes, dispel a lot of that energy that doesn't need to be in your system. So we have our sun in Pluto today, so it's restoring some physical energy that we haven't really had. There's some new desires that are popping up. We're basically amping up to these newer soul levels. And today is an observation day. So what we want to do is we want to observe where our energy is flowing, because there's going to be a major shift in our moods today. So we're going to feel very determined. We want to get something done. However, today's not really the day. The energy can be a little wonky. So we want to get something done in a very pro-forward way. However, we have Venus and Saturn today. So what that means is that there's that new truth in our feelings, because we were in that Leo energy. We said enough is enough. We're going to just speak from our heart space. So now we are aware of what our new feelings are towards something. So this is basically with relationships. This is either one-on-one relationships or just family dynamics, something with relationships, because there's going to be a reality check today. It's going to launch us out of confusion that we've kind of been stuck in, and it's going to put things in a whole new perspective. So we're going to gain a lot of clarity today. But like I said, the energy today is a little bit more intense towards relationships. The energy today can either break relationships or they can build upon them. That's why I say to stay in an observation state. This is really important. You need to observe where your energy is flowing. So when that happens, you can stay more present in the moment. And not only that, but you can gain awareness. You need to gain awareness where your energy is going. Which way are you teetering? Are your thoughts negative? Are they positive? We want to stay out of the negative aspect, of course, because we're rising to new soul levels. But today is observation day. Don't make any rash moves and don't lash out. Now, with our planetary alignments out of the way, let's talk about the sun. We have a lot going on with the sun right now. So we have entered those active geomagnetic storm levels today. We are at a KP4 right now with increasing solar winds. You can see high latitude positions where this aurora is going to occur. But tomorrow and the next day, this is going to die down unless we have a very large coronal mass ejection from our very active region, which we have a 10% chance of having an X-class flare from. But we'll be able to see some beautiful auroras and yet again those high altitude areas right now, majorly over Alaska. And here are our percentages for this geomagnetic storm. So the aurora percentage is going to be around 29% in Whitehorse, Canada. So Canada can see some of these colors right now. The United States, mainly Fairbanks and Anchorage, will see a 36% chance in those areas. Yes, they will be able to see it. What this means, just so everybody knows, when they say percentage, that means it's going to happen, but only in 36% of that area. Same with Anchorage. So if you see percentage, even on your regular weather, that's what that actually means. So yesterday we did reach into small geomagnetic storm levels, these yellow right here, Boulder, Colorado. We have a lot of incoming solar winds. We did have a very small interplanetary shock, but our solar winds are rising right now. So we're around 350 at the moment. Our density, not too much right at this current moment. However, your body might feel weighted today. It might feel also floaty. And those triggers are going to be prominent, especially with more light codes that are coming in. Now let's talk about the sunspots on the sun. So we have 8 right now. We have a couple that are not numbered yet, one above me, one that is coming on to the south limb of our sun, but 3615, this has a 10% chance of popping off. Yes, this area is much larger in size, but it has a lot of trailing spots, not too much on 3614. However, we need to look at this one because it is giving us quite a bit of light. We have already had an M-class flare from this region. We've had two very large M-class flares in the past couple of days. Our percentage is mainly up just because of this region, and it is coming Earth facing. So if it does produce that coronal mass ejection, we can see more increased geomagnetic storms, especially because our coronal hole is now Earth facing. So yet again, here is our active region, 3615, 10% chance of an X-class flare. This is our very large coronal hole coming Earth facing. This has a very high percentage of having a Earth-directed component from this region. It's also in the middle of the sun, mind you. So we're going to see what's going to happen today with this region and tomorrow and the next day when it becomes more Earth-facing. But here are what those two regions look like. So just out of curiosity, 3614, it is in beta and delta range, very small configurations, not too much of a percent chance of having even an M-class or an X-class. C percent chance is about nominal. But let's look at this one, 3615 right up here. Very complex region. It did form a delta configuration on top of its beta and its gamma. And you can see our noteworthy events were those two very high M-class flares almost into X-class flare range. So this is a very magnetically complex region. And you can see why, because we have this scatter, not too many buffers going on between these different configurations. It has went up dramatically in size and the number of sunspots. But notice that a proton level of 5% is associated with this region. What that means is, yet again, if we have a coronal mass ejection, or just a very large amount of energy coming from our solar flares, this percentage will increase solar radiation within the planet. So we can expect to feel physically a lot of symptoms that come from that higher proton levels. Now, look at our M-class flares. So we have a 30% chance of having M-class flares. We're getting those C-class flares. The X-class percentage is always very exciting, especially as it becomes more complex and becomes more compacted. However, we do see it spreading apart just a little bit. And here's the Schumann for today. So amplitude up. Yesterday we reached a peak of 77. Today we're almost at that exact range. We are dying down just a little bit. As you can see up here, we have had a very strong white light coming in through mode 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're getting a little bit of that gamma frequency coming in. Our frequency is higher exactly right now. So we're at 3.17, which is much higher than our 7.83. So yet again, a lot of energy is coming in. Our Schumann resonance is associated basically with the frequency also of humans. Is the exact same frequency. We are tied to the earth is tied to us. When the frequency goes up, the frequency of us goes up. So we have to basically balance the two within us, just so it's not super overwhelming and your body just doesn't hurt or feel that discomfort. But the more you do your shadow work, the more you dispel those feelings, which yet again, that's the energy today, but not too much energy. Remember, we have some breakups or some buildups here too. So go easy today. Today is observation day. Do not fall into those triggers. Yes, I know it's hard. We don't like Jimmy over there. Jimmy, yet again, what's with the Jimmy? Jimmy over there, we're not gonna, get in his face and say what we actually feel. That's not the day to do it. Today is about relationships. And if you have a relationship with, say, Jimmy, today's not the day to do it. I don't know if we can build on whatever is going on over here. However, it is not a great idea to act upon it. So now that we got out of the way of that today, you will feel some physical symptoms because we do have a lot of energy that is coming in. There's going to be a lot of head pressure. So if you are able to ground yourself or take an Epsom salt magnesium bath, something to dispel any of those discomforts that come along with today. Love ya.